All right, guys. Welcome back to episode 3 of Clappin Bombs. I'm Awol. Got next to me Eric and Robbie. We're on to the West now. We're gonna break this up into 2 different videos, but we decided there's really not a whole lot to talk about with these 2 divisions, so we're gonna do a combined one and get through pretty quickly here. So first up, and probably least notable, the Arizona Coyotes.
They're bad.
They're
still bad.
No one really.
They're
cared.
worse now. Actually, they got worse because now they don't have an arena and they're going to college.
That's probably the biggest news of the offseason.
Oh, and they don't get their logo on ice.
Bro, the
They can't put
the
their logo on
ticket
the side of their
prices
ice.
blow my mind. They want like $150 for top.
That'd be
row.
sweet to go to college there though and just get like student tickets or whatever.
Yeah, so I mean,
But,
they
yeah.
literally did nothing. They got Zach
Yeah,
Kassian.
They allowed Edmonton to cap dump Zach Kassian. That was nice of them. I'll say I like Coley. He's pretty cool. It's in his name.
Yeah, getting Cooley was big.
Yeah, he's gonna be great for them in probably Chicago when they trade him away in like a couple years. But
Yeah, they didn't really do anything. They're still bad. They're still going to be bad. They're going to be bad in front of even less people in attendance somehow. But, you know, I mean, they have a good future, at least. There's just not much to talk about now. Check back in 3 years? Ish.
You think
we'll see.
you think it only could take 3 years?
Well, at least Cooley will
How,
be on the team. by
where
then.
is Larkin at? Like 10 years into his career?
Not doing too good?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Coley.
Oh,
You
well.
don't have a lot to look forward
Yeah,
to.
We'll come back in 10
alright.
years.
We'll come back later. Right now, just chilling, taking on really
Oh, they also
bad
got 2 of
players.
the worst players in the league. Like seriously, Cassian and Nemeth.
Well, yeah, they got
I think that's literally the worst player at each of those positions.
possibly.
They're collecting them, I think.
Oh, hey.
They also lost Phil
If
Kessel.
only they
What
could
if
get
they-
Kevin Hayes,
what if they
then
get
we'd
Bedard?
really be really good.
What if they get Bedard out of this?
No shot.
Well, then I'll eat my words. That's actually pretty nice. I didn't
Yeah,
think of that.
well,
Yeah.
Send Bedard to college. All right, now someone to talk about.
This website give him an A?
Well,
I'm
yeah,
sorry, that's horrible.
I
What?
mean, they did okay. What
They
do
got
you,
Nemeth and Cassian.
what do you want them to do? Get Gaudreau?
Why not? I mean, that's better
They
than-
lost Phil
you
Kessel.
You can't give someone who got Cassian and Nemeth an A. I get they get the picks and all that, but that's terrible.
What picks?
They got picks.
for
They got
them.
picks.
I mean, they
for-
didn't
yeah.
just. They didn't willingly get Kazian and Nemeth.
I mean, they lost Phil Kessel. I mean, that's no one's going to their games.
No, I
At
mean,
least before you could say Phil was like, something worth watching, but
they've been bad for the past
No,
10
you know,
years. They're going to
I-
continue to be bad. The only
something
thing
we
good
didn't
about
bring up in the last episode is that the Penguins lost Brian Boyle. And I guess I can't get to watch Brian Boyle score between the legs goal against Arizona this year.
the only thing good about Arizona are the Kachina jerseys. So
Yeah, they do got cool jerseys. I wish they were a better team
yeah.
to use the jerseys. But
So next up is the
how are they not moved?
Robbie. We're done with the We're done with
They
them.
should move
No
them.
one cares about the Coyotes. The end. They
should
did
move
move to a smaller stadium.
Yeah, they
Um,
did move.
Next up, we got the Blackhawks.
They blew up their entire team.
I like to call them the Oprah of the offseason because they're just giving gifts to everybody.
You get a first liner. You get a first liner.
You get a 40
draft
goal
picks.
scorer. Seth Jones get $300
They
million.
might have had the most embarrassing
Dude,
offseason in the
Look
past
at
few
the
years.
Lost. They lost their guy that was their starter for as soon as they got rid of Fleury. They got rid of Lankinen now. They got rid of Strome. They got rid of Kubalik. They got rid of Doc. They got rid of
and
DeBrincat.
the prices that people paid for them, I think were a little under. But even then, at the draft, I think they missed the draft too. I don't even think they had a good draft.
No, they didn't. They didn't take.
This is the biggest
consensus
L I can
picks.
think of.
Yeah, it was really bad offseason
But
for the
hey, they
Blackhawks.
paid $3 million for Domi and Athanasiou.
Woohoo.
I can't wait. Absolutely can't wait for Chicago to move Patrick Kane and Taze.
Oh,
Taze has already said he's kind of gone.
Taze is gone at the
And Chi-
deadline.
and,
Patrick Kane is
Patrick Kane is
going-
committed, but I'm assuming
he's going to
gone.
the Oilers.
That would be nuts. I don't even want to think
Patrick,
about it until
I
it
guarantee you
materializes,
Patrick
so.
Kane will not start the season in a
No,
Blackhawks
he's
jersey.
gonna
No,
start
he
the
said he wants
season.
to start.
It's
He
too
said he
close.
wants to move the deadline. He basically wants to pick who's doing good. He doesn't want to commit now.
Commit to the bit.
Yeah,
Well,
he-
yeah, they're talking about the Leafs, and as we heard in episode number 1,
Yeah, he,
that would be a bad
Impossible.
idea.
yeah. He doesn't want to commit to like the Knights and then the Knights miss. So
Yeah, I understand it, but I mean, we'll see what happens. Again,
But
I think it's be a battle for who's the worst in the Central between the Blackhawks and
terrible
the Arizona
couple
Coyotes.
years for them. I mean, they got the whole allegations last year, and now they blew up their whole team. And I mean, if you're Chicago fans, I'd be just incredibly disappointed.
With a team
I'd
as
be,
much-
I'd be angry. I'd be pissed off with
With the
this-
legacy that
with this-
Chicago has and how good
yeah.
they were.
I mean, they
6
invented
years
hockey
ago.
like 10 years ago.
Yeah, they could have gotten more. I think that's just the general consensus. Is
Vulcan's still invisible.
I think that they just should have gotten more, right?
Yeah,
I mean, so many young kids. I mean,
yeah, the people they traded,
look what
dude.
Huberdeau got. I mean, Huberdeau got all kind of crap.
They traded Doc to Brinkett, and if you want to go back to the last deadline, Hagel. Why?
yeah.
There wasn't even a
that's the
reason. They were getting
build
better.
around.
They were getting better.
That would literally be their first line in 3 years
You know,
if
like
they would have kept them all.
Yeah, the Penguins were like, they decided they were going to get bad, and they were going to spend the last couple of years, just living out Crosby, Malkin's careers, right? And Chicago signed them to the rest of their careers, and then got rid of all their support.
Well, the reason that they're not able to do that with Taves and Kane is that they are just too young for that. I mean, whereas like Ovi's 37, Malkin's 37, Crosby's 36, Taves and Kane are only 31. Or, well, at least Kane
That's
is
fair.
only 31. You can't just call it quits on Kane's career right now. He's still in the prime.
I would really like to see them both moved, because I don't like just not having Kane around for a year.
they're just
going
to waste away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want them to just waste the last couple of years of Patrick Kane
I mean,
with this
Kane
awful
just
team.
Kane just put up 100 points.
He
2
can
seasons
still
ago.
do it.
We're
you
not
know?
necessarily a fantasy podcast, but, like, you're not taking Kane in the top 10.
Not this
year.
No chance. He doesn't have. He lost his center.
Who exactly is he playing with? Are they gonna have to move Taves to the same line?
There's no way.
Like, is that where they're
They
at?
might have to.
Yeah, I mean, like, they don't have a 2C. They just traded it.
Who in Lucas Reichel and Philip Kurashev, dude? Seriously?
Okay, I like Radish. I mean, yeah, but he's not a team.
No, dude.
I like Tyler Johnson. I like Anthony.
Sam
Theo. He's not a
Lafferty?
team. Yeah, like Lafferty for.
Nah,
We did not mention them in the Penguins, but yeah,
God.
Lafferty.
They
for,
signed Jack Johnson, dude.
He's got a cup.
It's no secret.
Who's Alex Vlasic?
Must be
43. Tom Wilson's number.
No.
I don't.
Who was the
think
other Vlasic?
Mark Edward
Mark
Vlasic?
Edward. I knew it was Edward something in there.
What is that power play? It's so
I
bad.
mean, it's, yeah.
And in case you're wondering, are their goalies good? Also, no.
How did Mrazek end up here? What a
He got
tire
traded.
fire. I
Yeah,
mean,
this is bad.
He didn't choose this place.
No.
This is bad.
It's such a disappointment. I mean, fire him into the sun. They should be fine. I wish there was some consequence for tanking for Bedard here. They're clearly tanking for Bedard. It's no secret. It's an embarrassment.
They're tanking so hard for Bedard that they're trying to get Patrick Kane to leave.
They're actively trying to lose.
Patrick Kane is negative goals for them right now. I mean,
He's scoring on Mrazek. I mean,
this is such a joke of a team.
Yeah,
I want consequences.
This is like Philadelphia Flyers level
let's
bad.
say if they were the worst team in the
Honestly,
league this year, because
They might be worse than the Flyers.
They can finish worse than the Flyers. The only reason they're not worse than the Flyers right now is because Patrick Kane still exists.
It's like that one South Park episode where they like go get Kyle's. They're playing baseball and they go like seek out Kyle's cousin to like come in and purposely lose games of baseball because everyone hates baseball. Like I feel like the Chicago Blackhawks hate hockey right now.
Yeah.
Or it's like when the South Park Elementary play against the Detroit Red Wings.
Yeah, I mean they are the elementary team. Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean
it's they are.
I mean, is there any question that they finish last? Like who? Like
they're gonna try.
It's gonna be them versus Montreal.
Like Montreal's a bad team, but
Montreal
I
has
don't see them
better
trying to
players than them.
lose.
I know that.
until Kane leaves, until Kane leaves, they
yeah.
aren't. But as soon as Kane's gone, throw in the towel, dude. They aren't winning the game.
Taze can't carry them by
No
himself.
way.
I mean, I like Taze.
Taze is still sad.
But we're gonna skip a bunch of teams here. There's not a lot to talk about. The Jets didn't do anything. Yeah,
They literally did nothing.
yeah. They
They signed Rittich. Rittich is a decent backup.
No, he's not.
he was kind of bad last
No,
year.
he's not.
Decent backup.
That's the thing.
want
I
me to
like.
tell me-
I,
You tell me he's
you know,
worse than
I like the
Comrie?
Jets roster though.
Yes.
They don't. The Jets just had a bad year. They had an off year last year. Run it back. You know, maybe they can figure some stuff out. I'm not too worried about the Jets.
Are they gonna figure out PLD, or is he just gonna keep crying
No,
about stuff?
he's gonna stay on the team this year. He's signed. He's gonna play. That's a long-term issue.
Bro, he had an 8.86.
Dude,
Yeah,
the
he was bad
in the
last year.
playoffs, he had a 6.15
Well,
and a 10 goals
who
against average.
didn't have that against Colorado? Let's be fair. Who didn't
Bro,
have
he
that?
had an 88.6. And if you're like, oh, well, maybe it was just an outlier, dude, no, he also had it last year.
They have Connor Hellebuck. He's one of the top 3 goalies in
Is
the
he
league.
going to play all 82
He
games?
has
He normally
to.
does.
He has to at
Yes,
this
he
point.
normally does. Was Eric Comrie any worse?
Eric Comrie's better than an 88.6. Holy hell.
Are you sure?
The last goal. Okay,
you
the
sure
last.
about that?
I mean,
That's Pavlik bad, dude.
okay, but we have a Hellebuck. All right, I'm not worried about it.
So Winnipeg
Moving
Jets
on.
stayed about the same. We'll see what they do this
I
year.
just think all their players are on the up though. It's the same roster, but it's a good roster. Moving on.
Preds.
Preds, they did do one huge move. I'm trying. Yeah,
They re-signed
McDonough.
McDonald's. I mean, that's gigantic for them. I mean, you get another year of Shane and who's that guy I don't like?
Johansson.
No, I mean
Oh,
Johansson's
Tanner
bad.
Janelle.
Yeah, Janelle. I'm sorry, I'm
I
really
love
off. It's still
Tanner
preseason
Janelle.
for me, you
I
know.
love Tanner
I hate
Janelle.
Jan.
They re-signed Phil
Fuck that
Forsberg
guy.
to-
Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy.
Oh my God.
Fuck that
I
guy.
love Tanner Janelle, dude.
All right. Well, Robbie's upset. Re-signed Philip Forsberg, 8 years, 8.5
Way too much
mil.
money. Same team. But
Yeah, again,
Forsberg.
they had to.
They'll,
I mean, you're gonna let him walk. So
I think the term is worse than the money. I think
Yeah.
it's so long, but,
but
we'll see how
like
it turns out
he's
for
like
him.
literally the highest. Like he's the most points on Nashville like of anyone. So like, what are you gonna
You
do?
kind
Tell
of
him
have to do
no?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, literally, he's their highest scorer
Yeah,
in all-time
That's what I'm
history.
saying. Like
Excuse me.
for real.
He's the all-time leading goal scorer for the
He's
for
the
Nashville
Wayne
Predators.
Gretzky of Nashville.
He
I
is
mean-
legit their all-time leading
and
goal
he
scorer.
makes $8 million. That's all right, you know.
I mean, Nashville made it to the playoffs last year, but they were pretty quick exits. So
Yeah, while Saros going
Yeah.
down didn't help.
I think that-
McDonough's huge for them. He really is.
I don't think it's enough.
Yossi and McDonough is pretty
nice.
nice.
That's
It's
nice.
pretty. I'd like to have that. I'm kind of, you know,
A little bit jelly.
a little jelly of that. But Matthew Shane's probably not gonna put up 40. Ryan Johansson's still pretty garbage.
I mean, their team is pretty below average.
It's okay.
I hate Tanner Janelle. Have I said that?
They're gonna make the playoffs.
Don't think Fabro's a monster.
mean-
I like him.
They're gonna make the playoffs because
they
they're just
they-
good.
I don't think
They're
can
okay.
They can't be worse than the other teams. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
basically where
That's why they're
at.
gonna make it.
They have good players. They're gonna make the playoffs. They're just. I'm
I
not
don't
excited
underst-
about
I don't
them.
understand Ryan Johansson.
He's just
He's just
average.
there.
Yeah, he's really not that good.
He's like a 2 or 3
They should
seed
really
on every
swap-
other team.
They should swap him into Shane. Like, I don't know.
Does Kemmel play?
They have two Cs.
Why
That's
not?
huge. If
Okay,
he
yeah,
plays
that
and
would
does
be
well,
really
that's
good.
huge.
He's
Um,
18 though. He's so young.
But he was really good in the WJC. So like the
Okay, well that's
the
also
whole
not
has
the,
almost
he
identical.
dominated the
that's
tournament.
not the NHL.
Has almost identical stats to Line in the Finnish league,
Yeah, and Line played.
and Line played.
Okay, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I mean, I know you guys with the WJC just finished up, but
He's
like,
center. Yeah, right.
No, he's a
Oh, he's a
winger.
winger.
but
I mean,
I
yeah,
think that
just
there's a
adding him-
different
put him on
level.
Shane's line.
There's
Why
a
not?
different level of play.
Line is clearly. I'm not comparing him to Line. Line is much better, but
Is he though?
Kemmel was really good, and even if he doesn't make the team this year, that's not a big deal because they'll just get him next year, and you know, I give him the 9 games, see how it goes. I think he'll do okay. I don't think he'll completely dominate the NHL, but you never know.
Who's their backup?
Lankinen.
It's
Welcome
bad.
a gift
Yeah,
from
it's-
Chicago.
That's a solid backup.
Eh.
I mean, Saros is gonna get all the
I'm
starts.
much higher on this team if Kemmel plays. If Kemmel
I'm
plays, they have
like
a better
they're like
chance.
a B team, you know, like because they're in the West. I think they're a solid B team. I don't think they're cup contending or anything like that. But getting McDonough off of Tampa Bay, you know, because of that cap situation, that's a huge win for them. It really is. I'm not going to understate that, but it's still. I mean, they're going to be one of the better teams in the Central, but that's not saying much.
Yep.
Dallas, they suck.
Yeah, the
they
Dallas
lost
Stars-
Radulov. They lost Klingberg. Where is Klingberg?
Klingberg went to Anaheim.
He's on Anaheim now.
Yeah, I thought
1
so.
year.
Yeah,
They
they're,
got
they're garbage. They're done.
Mason Marchment for some reason.
Jamie Benn and Sagan are horse shit. They're gonna be horse shit for the next year.
Yeah, I
That's
think
it. I got
Dallas-
nothing else to say.
there's really not much to say. The only light in Dallas's favor is Jason Robertson.
I mean, Joe Pavelski's not a top line winger at 38
Another
years old.
45
Dude,
goals
Joe
out of
Paul?
him. He's gonna score 50 this year because it just keeps going up.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Could
this team's
he's
bad.
he's the new Kreider.
Who's gonna play with Jimmy
Ryan
Ben that I don't know
Suter
his
is
name
on
this
their
year?
first line. Is that the Ryan Suter
Yeah,
that's
that is
1,000
the
years
Ryan
old?
Dude. I like Heiskanen. He's pretty good.
Yeah,
but,
you know who else I like?
Is he gonna carry this defense?
You know
I
who
don't
else
think
I
so.
like? John Klingberg, and he's
Who the
not
hell's
there
their
anymore.
goalie?
Ottinger.
Oh yeah, I like Ottinger. He's pretty good.
Ottinger's great.
Yeah, I mean their priorities were sign Ottinger and Robertson.
Figure
and
it out
they-
later.
Yeah.
Sign Ottinger. Figure it out later.
Yeah,
Pretty much how it
basically.
goes.
Yeah, I don't see them doing
Why did
much.
they not re-sign Klingberg? Like, why?
He probably just didn't want to.
Yeah, I have a feeling that it was mostly him because he was still
Why
upset
would you
with
want to
them.
play with Dallas? They're horseshit.
Yeah, this team's not going to
I mean,
go very well.
We'll get to it when we get. I don't know my exact rankings right this second, but I don't think the Stars make it. I'm not scared of them at all.
I did enjoy that they made it over Vegas. That was cool.
Yeah, that
But,
was fun, but let's be real.
Yeah, that's not happening again. Next team, the Blues.
Blues are pretty good.
Dude, they got Ferk.
They let a lot of people go.
Hey, that's
and
way too much money for Letty, huh?
Yeah, they're
Also,
their
Robert
re-signs
Time-
are
Robert
bad
Thomas.
yeah, that's a lot of money to re-sign those guys.
Robert Termas.
This is why I don't like advanced stats. I saw
Robert Thomas has some really good advanced stats, but is he worth
I
that
saw
much
one-
money? I don't think.
I
mean,
saw one of Jay Fresh's.
Yeah, he's nuts.
Did you see the
yeah.
graph?
Yeah, he's
Where-
disgusting on. He's
where
like
it was-
literally
he
like
was
all
all the
yeah.
way by
He's a
himself.
complete
It was
outlier. Like he
ridiculous.
was like a entire standard deviation away. Like
Yeah.
that's how good he was. But that doesn't mean a lot to me.
Nerd shit.
I mean, that's why they paid him. Like he was literally, in a quadrant by himself.
Martin
They were
Ferk.
like, he was so good. He was so much better than everybody.
They signed
else.
Martin Ferk.
Yeah, they got Ferk.
That's a dub for the
That
name
kid's
team.
got a 108 mile an hour slap shot.
Who'd they lose? They lost Perron. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
Scroll
Let's
down.
scroll. Huso.
Huso.
Losing Huso is
They-
big because now they're
they're not-
committing to
they're not
Bennington,
noting
and he's
Perron.
just a whiny little snob.
Fucking hate
Like,
Bennington.
I would not like. He's
And
just
they
a
replaced him with
horrible
Grice.
locker room person. Yeah,
Tomas Grice is.
he's passes.
They basically traded Huso for Grice because
I-
now Huso's on Detroit.
I
and
mean,
Grice
I hate
is on St.
that.
Louis.
I think they were the only team to actually give Colorado a little bit of a
problem.
problem.
Yep.
And, I think they're a good team, and
Yeah.
they stayed the same. But those contracts are not gonna.
Yeah, now here's the thing. We
Help
just got
them.
done shitting on them. Now let's say they're the favorites in the Central.
Yeah,
St. Louis.
Yeah.
they
I
are.
don't think we just shit on them. I think they're a solid team.
I said they stayed the same.
I don't know
yeah.
why they have Robert Thomas.
They
and
went from
Ryan
a- like
O'Reilly,
a-
but whatever.
They went from like an B plus A minus to a B plus A minus.
I
you know?
think-
What do you mean? We just got done saying he was literally in a graphical
he's better.
I don't
category on
understand
his
Okay, they have
own.
two
math.
first lines. You can switch those. It doesn't matter. I mean,
Kyrou. is gonna have
Kyrou and
another-
Tarasenko, Thomas Tarasenko, Riley Kyrou, they were both really good lines.
their
It
top
does not
two-
matter
their
which
top two
one
lines
is.
are really good.
I think I said it last year. They got sneaky good wingers.
I think-
Brandon. They just.
Oi, Nathan Walker,
Yeah,
mate.
Brandon Saad is like just like that
He's middle
sneaky
of the road.
good, but he's like one of the better ones. I really impressed with their top six.
I think Kyrou's gonna have another really good season.
That's not a good defense.
Justin Falk is so old. He's so old.
I like Parayko.
Colton Parayko's great. Why are they still have Robert Bertuzzo?
Yeah, that's the thing that blows my mind.
How
is
is
that
he
They
still
Robert
on the
paid
Bortuzzo's still
Nick
in the
Leddy
league.
$4 million to be on the
Oh,
third
good
line.
Lord, dude.
I-
4x4 for which is worse, a 4x4 for Goodbranson or a 4x4 for Letty?
Good Branson.
Are you sure?
I'm
not sure actually, but
I like Torrey Krug. I do not like.
on the top line for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who in the hell is Joel Hoffer?
Some
We'll
no
find
way.
out. This
All
year.
right, yeah, I guess.
That's basically
You about
like
to
John.
find out?
That's basically like John Doe.
John Doe.
Yeah, I think St. Louis
Yeah,
does the same.
same. I agree.
I think that they make it further in the
They're trending
playoffs
same.
because they will beat Colorado if they come face to face, but they stayed about the same.
All right, Minnesota lost Fiala for nothing. They signed nobody because they
got worse.
can't.
Yeah. They're in a tough situation.
They re-signed Fleury and shipped out Cam
They have
Talbot.
the best player Minnesota's had recently in
Ever.
Krill and they got Rossi coming up, and if Rossi plays this year, that's pretty good too.
He should. Boldy should
yeah.
as well.
But I mean, they're just in a weird spot where they have all this dead cap, and I just don't understand how you could possibly try to build a team, be competitive with like 10% of your cap just unusable.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, how much is it? Because
It's probably pretty significant.
It's somewhere between 5 to 10. I don't know the exact number, but
This year, I know it's less this year. This year, it is
yeah,
12.7.
the buyouts on Parise and Suter are just such a
It's
complete.
12.7 for this year, and it goes up
Handicap.
to 14.7 next year.
They're screwed for the
I
next
mean,
3 years.
they paid Krill. That's great. It's so good that they got Krill. But until those are off
Hey,
the
guess what
books,
happens next year
there's
when
no
Matt?
way.
Guess what happens when Matt Dumba needs a contract next year? He's not getting.
Yeah.
you can't. They can't.
I mean, what did you say? 14 million?
Kulikov.
14
million is like 2 top line wingers.
Kulikov is not the best defenseman, but he's gone. They can't sign him.
He had an insane year last year. He's definitely not doing that again.
There's too much cap space wrapped
Yeah.
up.
Until
where
that's
it's wrapped
gone,
up.
it's not even worth talking about.
Look, they have.
I love Krill though.
And
Krill's like really
they
kind of
have
surprising how
1,
good he
2,
turned
3,
out to be.
4, 5, 6, 7. 7 players you're not gonna be able to resign in 3 years.
Yeah, I mean they're not.
This team is screwed. There is nothing they can do about it.
It's not. They're not screwed because they got plenty of top end. They got the top end talent. That's the hard part. They just have to play this waiting game until this dead cap's gone.
Yeah,
For 3 years.
Yeah, I mean that's what they're gonna have to do. It's the only choice they got.
Yeah,
I mean, I
it
know they
sucks
have to
'cause
do
They're
it, but
gonna
it's-
burn all their ELCs with like Rossi and
They're
and Boldy. They have to just burn them while they have this dead cap.
they're fucked.
Instead of like some teams where they put these guys on ELCs on an already contending team.
Yep.
How did Nick Patan get another contract?
Wow, he really did.
Yep, they signed him.
I mean, I guess there's definitely better. Like why they should have signed Erod or Sonny Milano
I'm
or
guessing
something.
he's not gonna play. I mean, obviously he's not gonna play. He's never played. But
But-
I try to be positive about Minnesota. This dead cap's too much for them.
Yeah. I mean,
at least in 3 years they're gonna be really good. They got the best
They
goalie from the
can be
WJC.
They have the opportunity to be
They
really
got
good.
Boldy. They got Rossi. They got.
Fleury
Addison.
will be out just in time for them to make.
Yeah,
their run
Kalen
pick up.
Addison's pretty good.
But good lord, dude, $12 million wrapped up in
Yeah.
just nothing.
Let's move on to the next one.
Brutal.
And the next would be the reigning Stanley Cup champion Colorado
I
Avalanche.
alluded to it at the end of the last podcast. They are not repeating, and if you think they are, you're crazy. Sorry.
Yeah, kinda. They lost too much, dude. I mean,
They have
lost,
no starting goaltender.
Yeah, they lost.
Georgiev is a third string,
They lost their
and
entire
Francouz is a
second
backup.
line. They lost their entire second line and their starting goalie, and what they get, Georgiev. That's it.
Also, they're saying Georgiev is going to be the starter.
Yeah, they're committing to They're committing to the bit. Georgiev. Like,
It,
watch this guy play for 3 games at the start of the season and tell me he's a starter.
it's absolutely what I don't understand. They won the cup. Why did they not just
Ran out of
fucking
money.
do it again?
They ran
Oh,
out of money.
not to mention the huge loss of Kadri. He was their best player in the playoffs,
I mean,
other than McCarr.
here's the thing. You can I've thought about it a
They
lot,
lost
right?
just about every game he didn't play.
I've thought about it a lot, right? Because on
Oh,
one
and-
hand, should they have kept Kadri? Yes, but on the other hand, they couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
They
And
they had
they're
to pick
in-
one. They all 3 of their second line players were up. All their contracts were
Yeah.
up, and they basically had to pick one, and
Yeah.
they picked Nichushkin.
Which I don't
Obviously,
think is
picking
wrong.
Burakovsky's wrong.
I think it just stems. It worked out for them. They got a cup out of it, so it's not a huge problem. I mean, obviously they did it. I can't
they also-
say it's wrong, but the Landeskog contract caused this.
But they also didn't want to commit to anything because
They committed to Landeskog.
McKinnon's contract is up after this
Yeah,
season.
he's gonna be the highest paid
That's
player
$14
next year.
million.
Yeah, he's the highest paid player next year, and they went from this. They had so many good players because of these team-friendly deals. All that's over. It's
Eric
the
Johnson,
guys got paid.
Eric
got
Johnson is
paid.
gone. JT Confer is gone. I mean,
Jack Johnson's gone.
Jack Johnson's
Yeah.
he's already resigned. But I'm saying
I-
next year after because they have to free up $8 million for McKinnon.
Yeah. Yeah, they did.
They have to.
He,
and
he's making more than McDavid just because he has a cup.
he can.
Yeah.
Because he can.
Yeah, I mean they
He's
don't
gonna
even
be
have
he's
really
gonna
much
usher in a
pipelines.
new era of cap. It's gonna be like
This
they're
is
gonna
like-
spin him around for a little bit. McKinnon's gonna be the highest, then McDavid, then Matthews, so on.
This is becoming like an NBA situation, but the only benefit we have to the NHL is there's a salary cap.
Well, there's a salary cap in basketball. It's just obnoxious.
It's
Yeah,
virtually
Georgiev isn't a
invisible.
starter.
Oh, it's just how the games are played. Basketball is a lot easier to just put LeBron on the court and be like, all right, cool, we can make the playoffs with that.
They-
You can't do that in the
They
NHL.
did manage to re-sign a lot of their
Good
lower
baseball, I
end,
guess.
Cogliano, Helm, Manson. That's all good, but
Yeah, but you know what?
it doesn't replace the second line.
Yeah, their second line going into the season, penciled in right now, is Nichushkin, Comfer, Lehkonen. That's
that
not a
does
second
not-
line.
And you know St. Louis is going to be gunning from them because I bet you they're still
Absolutely.
probably mad about that Binghamton stuff in the playoffs. So if I'm St. Louis, I have my bullseye on.
Look,
on
after
them.
Jason Megna's penciled into this
Oh
lineup.
my God.
Yeah, that's not good.
I haven't seen Jason Megna since he played for the Pens.
They had a good year. I'm not saying they didn't. They had a great year.
Of course they did. They won the
Obviously,
fucking
they won
cup.
the cup. But this is not a scenario
only
where they're going
saving-
back to back.
Their
At
defense,
least this is really good.
their defense is insane.
Tays, McCarr, Gerard,
But-
Manson, Byram Johnson.
But guess what doesn't win
Good
Stanley
line.
Cups?
They have elite defense.
Guess
I'm
what
not
doesn't-
saying they
guess
don't.
what doesn't win
I mean,
Stanley Cups?
defense does
a
win.
single line.
And no goaltending.
Exactly.
Yeah, the Frank Hughes, Georgiev goaltending.
They-
I mean, we shit
yeah.
all over Toronto. I'll give it right back here. This is bad.
They are. I would not.
That's two backup
Here's
goal.
my
That's a
thought.
backup and a third string.
Yeah, pretty much.
I can't even do this hot take because there's other teams are so fucking bad in the Central. I would say if there were better teams, they would miss the playoffs.
They,
Possibility.
But they can't. It's impossible.
It's
Yeah.
a little bit of speculation, but like they only were able to win the cup because their road to the finals was so much easier than Tampa. Tampa Bay was destroyed.
I don't know about that.
I'm
Who
not-
did they bully?
I
these
know,
guys?
but you
They-
can't do that.
Nashville is not an opponent.
Okay, but that's like saying Tampa Bay's first two cups didn't count because they played against Dallas and Montreal.
That's a bullshit excuse. They won the cup.
They
End
won,
of
but they
story.
ain't winning it again.
No. They have a lot to do to even get to the point where that's even possible again. And also,
Teams are putting the
I
tape
think-
on. They're studying them. There's no way.
you know
There's
what,
no way
you
they're
know what makes no
repeating.
sense is Sakic wins the cup, wins GM of the year, and then stops being GM.
Yeah, he's just president of hockey ops. I mean, I don't even know what the difference between the two jobs is, if I'm being honest.
I mean, I don't know either, but
well,
it's
like that's
it's a
like the
little weird.
Penguins have Hextall and Burke. Which one's the GM? No one knows.
Hextall.
Yeah, he's the GM, but is he?
Yes.
What's Burke do then?
Who gives a shit?
It's the same thing. I mean, he's still in charge.
So, I mean, if we're gonna be ranking the Central Division, I mean, it's Colorado, Nashville. Who gives?
No, it's St. Louis.
St. Louis, Nashville.
Colorado's still above Nashville.
I don't think so, dude.
I do.
I don't.
Their defense is better.
Well, how good do you think Saros is? Saros was really good last year. How good do you think Saros is?
Saros has only gotten better since he started.
Saros is really good.
I put more money in Saros.
interesting.
I put more money in Saros, Yossi, and
But then again,
and McDonough.
Colorado does have
Yeah, but they
McCarr.
got McCarr and Tays.
yeah. I mean, I like
Girardi.
I like Colorado's defense, but where's their goaltending? Like, it doesn't matter how good your goalies are if they
okay,
let in
but
beach balls.
Where's Nashville's offense?
Matt
I mean, they
Duchene.
still got it though. They got Gronlund and Duchesne, and it's not great,
Here's the thing,
but it's
their
something.
Their
I'd
offense,
take McKinnon and Rantanen over all
Nashville,
of them.
Nashville's
Obviously,
offense
but-
didn't get worse. It stayed the same. You can't say the same thing about Colorado.
And their
That's
offense
true.
was all right, you know.
And they both. I mean, I honestly, I put St. Louis at the top of the division, then Nashville. Colorado's a bubble team.
Nashville's hard to play against.
Nashville's very fun.
And then what? Winnipeg?
I think
Probably.
I think the Jets take that spot just basically by default, and
You
I
think-
do think the
you
Jets
think
get
the
better.
Jets-
I think the Jets have the opportunity to take the division this year, and I hope they seize it. I mean, their roster's the best. Yeah, I think their roster's the best just because I mean Hellebuck, and that's basically it. Hellebuck's the best player in the Central at this point.
What?
Yeah, as soon as Kane gets knocked out, then yeah, it's down to McKinnon and Hellebuck. He's not necessarily wrong. It's a bit of a hot take, but he's not necessarily wrong.
I don't know. I mean,
It's a little bit of hopefulness, but
If
it's not
he-
it's not like the top six in the the defense on the Jets are terrible. They're fine.
Assume Kane leaves the
Con-
Central.
Connor's
yeah,
one
it
of the
goes-
best.
it
Connors
goes-
has some of the highest goal
so here's-
totals in the
so
league
here's how
or
I
in the
think,
Central.
Here's how I think the Central looks. St. Louis
And
at the
in the
top.
league.
St. Louis at the top, and then it's Winnipeg, Colorado, Nashville, and then they're in their mix. Who gives a shit?
More or less.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really worth debating
Chicago
too
is
bad.
the-
There's really like I'm not.
Chicago is the worst team in the division.
Clearly.
They're all bad, really. I mean,
Yeah,
they
they
all
really
they
are
all
kinda
got
all
worse.
bad.
The only team that stayed the same was
Martin Jones.
St. Louis, and I guess the Jets stayed the same, but they were already kind of bad to begin with.
Central Division fans, I apologize if we hurt your feelings, but it is what it is. You got to deal with it. Moving on to the Pacific. Again, we're gonna combine these two a little bit shorter. Just
Is the
'cause-
Central the worst team or the worst division?
Yes.
though?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
100%, no doubt about
Well,
it.
I mean, like the Pacific's, I've always thought the worst.
But the Pacific is
the
getting
Pacific
better,
got way better.
really fucking quick.
But then again, it's really just Edmonton
Anaheim.
No.
and I guess and Anaheim, yeah. So
The
we're
Kings are
two.
always in the fold.
I got 2 cup contenders in Pacific. but,
Anaheim's
we'll
not
jump,
coming
we'll jump
together
into them.
yet,
We'll
but-
jump into them.
Yeah.
So first up, we're gonna go to the Seattle Kraken, the newest edition of the NHL.
They got better, but it's pretty hard not to.
I mean,
So,
it
I think-
depends. Like, is Wright going to play this year? Is he going
So
to get 9
I
games
think
to go back?
I think the two biggest
They're
signings.
still kind of bad.
I think the two biggest signings for them are going to be Burke and Justin Schultz, right? So
and they just had a horrible year. Like, what a
I mean, right now they got Beniers
Waste.
penciled in, which is good. Beniers is great.
oh my God, Jerry McCann is on the 3rd line.
Yeah,
and,
the rest of this is
they
really
paid him a
bad,
lot of
though.
money. I remember.
Tanev, Gigi, Donskoy.
Yeah,
so I don't. I
they're
think
they're
that
not a good team.
They're
Hey,
not. No.
Burakovsky and Bjorkstrand aren't first liners. So the reason I say Wright doesn't play this year is
I just don't need him to.
He's a
you know,
bitch.
like,
they don't need him to, and he already had a bad year in the OHL.
Yeah, no.
like
Just,
I mean,
he needs to focus on development. There's no rush. And even if he got on his team, what is?
I'm not sure if
Are
I've,
they a
I don't-
threat all of
I
a
don't
sudden?
think
No,
I-
they're not.
I don't think I've had more dislike for a player before they've ever played an NHL hockey game in my life than Shane Wright. What a little crybaby.
yeah, I mean,
Boo hoo, you didn't go first of the ball.
I mean, good for Seattle. They got gifted Shane Wright.
They
you
didn't
know.
get gifted. Shane
did.
No, they did not because Shane Wright had a shitty season and his stock dropped, and that's why they got him. I think that they got the player where they needed to get him. I don't.
Hogan.
I mean, again, Shane Wright might turn out to be a freaking all-star. I mean, he probably will, but
They have no goaltending.
Grubauer.
Oh, good.
Grubauer's not the worst. He's
Yeah,
pretty fucking.
Grubauer had a bad year, and it ain't gonna get any better.
And their backup is Martin Jones.
Who I've gone on record saying is the worst goaltender ever. Ever.
Yeah, I mean,
Ever.
see,
I don't know if
it's-
ever.
so I think this kind of dates back to the fact that Seattle had a really shitty expansion draft. They've missed
Yeah,
a lot of opportunities, and they're not going to recover from it for quite a few
I
years.
think I'm still judging them a little bit on that.
They missed Tarasenko.
They could have.
How do you miss
Tarasenko.
Vladimir Tarasenko?
I mean, obviously,
Voracek,
not getting
Van Riemsdyk
Price
even.
is not a big deal, but
there was just so many missed opportunities. They took a lot of questionable players, and I think it's going to bite them in the ass for the next few years. I don't see them competing anytime soon.
They got good prospects.
As I said,
they could. I still think they could have done better, and that's the part.
okay, these
but,
prospects are not going to be.
No.
They're not going to swing games for them
No.
for the next 5 years.
I mean, their biggest pickups were a bunch of former Capitals that just aren't very good.
Michael Kempney.
Yeah, Kempney has not been the same since his injury.
Um,
Schultz is whatever, really. I mean,
It's
is he okay? Yeah, but
I guess he can run the power play for them.
or is Vince done better?
Yeah, Vince Dunn's. I forgot about Vince. I like Vince
That's-
Dunn. He's pretty good.
They didn't lose anything, but they didn't really. I mean, they're going to be better just because they did sign Burakovsky
Hayden
and
Fleury's.
Schultz.
Oh, that's
but-
John Fleury.
And Beniers is going to play the whole year. Beniers is going to play the whole year. I mean, but they're bad, and they're going to still be bad.
They do have some of the sickest jerseys, though.
Talk about Anaheim. I'm very excited about Anaheim.
Yeah. So Anaheim, all they did was sign Strome and Vetrano from the Rangers, which is funny.
Strome immediately replaces Getzlov.
But,
I mean, I know Getzlov had his history.
But
in
the
a
big,
lot.
they didn't make many moves. But all of their rookies are going to play this year,
I'd assume
and they have so many.
It's one of those things, though. Like, I don't think you can call them a cup contender, though.
No, not yet.
No, I mean this is like a rookie year for. This is like the first year
good
that
thing-
Anaheim.
the good thing
I'm
is-
viewing this as Anaheim's rookie year, like for this
Yeah.
next team.
The good thing is they also have so much cap space.
They have
Yeah.
so many draft picks
They
next
can
year.
sign all of
Yeah,
these
but
kids
they
with
didn't
no
mention
problem.
that website didn't mention, but they did get Klingberg. That is notable.
Yeah.
Klingberg is a
Klingberg.
huge defensive pickup for them.
So now they actually have a good
I'd assume
number
that they're just gonna flip
one.
him,
He's
though.
their sure, but I mean he's
When
the
he
one D
pulls
for
it
the
up,
year.
Their defense is super solid, dude. Eric, pull it up real quick. Hit you with a young Jamie. I really hope Zegers can continue to do what he was doing at the end of last
Zegers
year.
is so much fun to watch.
He's a very, very fun
Zegers,
player
Terry,
to watch.
McTavish is going to be so good for them.
Yeah, he is. McTavish
Um,
is unreal.
Frank Vetrano was a very good pickup, I think. I
Yeah.
don't know if
I like the Stroman. The first off, Stroman and Vetrano
They
were
just
already
added a
playing.
they added
Yeah,
the
they-
second line.
This is the Rangers' second line, but instead of Panarin, they got McTavish.
which obviously is not the same, but I think that they'll do just fine in Anaheim. So Eric, if you scroll down, looking at their defense is pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean Drysdale's great.
Cam Fowler's just
They have a
solid
They have a
defenseman.
loaded right side, which is kind of
Klingberg is a huge pickup. I
yeah.
think that was kind of something that they just kind of snuck in there. I don't think anybody really saw that. That was kind of like off the radar.
it happened so late.
Yeah, it did. So that's a pretty big pickup
And
for them.
I mean, that team was out.
And then they just drafted. They got Owen Zellweger too, dude.
Oh yeah, dude, Owen Zellweger, dude. Yeah,
I'm not
dude.
familiar with that one. Sorry.
He finished right behind McTavish in MVP.
Oh,
the World
what?
Juniors.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, he was in Canada?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
And they're saying that he's going to play in
Doesn't
next.
stand out to me.
They're saying that he could play in the next World Juniors, and he's the odds-on favorite for MVP of that one. That would make 3 straight World Junior MVPs for Anaheim: Zegras, McTavish, and then Zellweger. They also have Drew Hellison, who they got in the trade with Colorado. They just drafted another defenseman, and they picked up Levy.
Yeah, they're good. Let's just put it that way. And I mean,
Kale
we
Klein.
didn't even mention
They got DeLeo.
Gibson. I mean, Gibson's. I think he's one of the best.
Gibson's the best goalie in the league
don't know about
in
best,
terms
but
of actual
That's a
elite
bit
positioning.
extreme, my guy.
In terms of actual elite positioning,
the
he's
best
the
lefties in
best.
the league. So I mean, that's a little hard to.
Gibson's is positionally
I'm not
one of
gonna.
the best goalies in the league.
He's like a top 5 goalie. He could be anyway, if he had goal support.
I think that
Oh, they signed Godin too.
I was talking with Eric the other night about this just because we were just kind of trying to talk about what are some of the positives for the Pacific. I think that the fact that John Gibson and Cam Talbot, John Gibson being a little bit younger, obviously, are both going to have career years. I think John Gibson's coming into this season after having last season with Anaheim, and they had a really good season.
Yeah,
The
I
first
think
good
they
season in
asked him-
quite a few years. I think that that's going to revitalize him, and I think he's going to have an absolutely insane year.
I think they asked him if he wanted to move, and he said no.
No, he signed.
Yeah.
He re-signed.
Gibson?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He's
Yeah.
there for like another 6 years.
I think he's committing to them, and I
he
think
did.
he's excited about
Absolutely.
it. You know,
I think they have a lot of young kids. Again, I don't think they make the playoffs this year. I think they're maybe.
I think they make the playoffs. There's not much competition.
There really isn't. They might just make it.
You know what? They could probably be in a wild card. That's probably a fair point.
They also picked up Glenn Godin, who I just wanted to highlight right here real quick. 62 games in the AHL last year. He had 50 points.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Obviously, you never know with some of those AHL guys. Sometimes they can be nothing, and in other years, it's like Michael Bunting putting up
Sure.
50 points just playing with Matthews alone.
Yeah.
So that's important to note that they do get
I'm
somebody like him.
I think the Ducks are a very fun team to watch. I'm excited to watch what they do this year. I mean, it sucks.
I just want to watch Zegras and McTavish together.
They-
That's
they,
all I want.
They play late at night, so it's hard to watch them. But my bedtime's at 9:30. So, but no, very exciting team. I think they're doing nothing but getting better. I think in the next couple years they're serious cup contenders.
Next up we're gonna skip the Sharks. They lost Brent Burns. That's all I can say about them.
Yeah,
They're kind of bad. They're running on fumes. Yeah, I like Couture. I like Carlson. Hurdle.
But yeah, they're not gonna. They're one of the teams that I have penciled in at the bottom 5.
Yeah, I mean
They're a Bedard team.
sure.
Like that's where they're looking. They're not
Yeah,
going to win games.
They're not.
No, they're bottom of the barrel. They're going to be scraping for wins. I just don't see. I mean, they have like a bunch of acquired, but they're all garbage.
Oh, big pickup Bob Boner. Love him.
Bob
No,
Boner.
they lost them.
Oh, they lost Bob. Where'd Bob go?
I don't
I
know.
thought I know Bob signed a contract. I thought it was.
They're
them.
trending up, dude. This website's out of its mind.
Yeah, they're not trending up. They are very much trending.
When
down.
they traded Brent Burns, it's a downward spiral from there.
Yeah, they need to just keep going. Like their order of business should be flipping Couture, Hurdle, and Carlson.
Do you think they can move at the deadline? Any of them?
I don't think so. I don't think it's that.
Do you think the
It's
Sharks?
that bad.
Do you think
Well,
the
you never
Sharks
know,
think
like,
that they're
I mean,
better than they are?
They
Are one of
definitely
those
think
teams?
they're still like, oh, we have Erik
Well, I don't
Carlson.
know.
You know.
I don't know because they did just get a new GM. I don't know what his plans are yet.
They are
he
also
hasn't really had a chance to.
They're $2
show
million
us.
over cap right now.
Oh yeah, no, they're screwed.
Oh, just
Uh,
move Timo Meyer at the
Yeah,
at
no,
free
those guys
agency.
aren't getting moved.
Timo Meyer's gone.
Myers,
No
sure.
way.
He's just $6
Of
million.
all of them, I'd keep him.
I don't know, dude. You can move Nick Bonino.
Yeah.
What the fuck did you just say?
Get
I
rid of
don't
Nick Menino.
I think this whole team is just pretty
It's bad.
garbage.
Yeah, they're a
we're
bottom
not gonna
5 team.
stick on it long. Let's
Eric
just go
Carlson's
to the
making
next one.
$11.5
Yeah,
million.
that's the only reason they can't trade Eric Carlson
Oh
is because
my god!
in order to move Carlson, they're going to have to send him to Arizona. They're going to have to retain 50%, send him to Arizona, who retains 50%. Then they can trade
Mark
him.
Velasquez still making $7 million. He's 35.
Yeah, I mean they paid them for performances that they never really got because this team never won a cup. They paid them as if they won a cup, and they never did.
Remember when they made it to the finals against the Pens and Martin Jones did Martin Jones things? That was pretty
How
funny.
are the Magnets still playing hockey? Their goaltending's terrible too.
Yeah.
It's just
James Reimer.
That's backup city, you know.
Backup city, bitch.
this is bad.
Yeah, there's nothing to say.
They're still
Let's go to the next team.
they retained salary on Martin Jones.
Yeah, of course they had to. How else were you gonna trade Martin Jones? Like they had
Oh
to.
my god. Let's move on from St. Louis, Chicago, or whatever the fuck this team is.
CJCs.
Who cares?
Vancouver.
Probably, I will say to you.
I like Mikheyev. That's a huge. Yeah, getting Mikheyev.
Here's my
Re-signing Besser.
here's my
everyone was
opinion on the Canucks. They're the most disappointing team. in
They
the
were
past
really
5
disappointing. Yeah,
years.
Pedersen specifically. I'm just gonna
Full
call him
season with
out.
Bruce.
I
Yeah,
think
Bruce turned it around though. You know, I'd like to see what they can do with Bruce. I'd like to see what Pedersen and you know Mikheyev and
I
all
was
them
really
could do.
I thought that the
I
the
had them a lot
Canucks-
higher.
I did too. I
Yeah.
thought they were gonna have an amazing season last
I
year.
just kind of forgot about them
Because you
completely.
know what, they
'cause
didn't
that's
really
where they
change
are.
much from the season before. Whenever they were making a pretty
Who's
decent push.
wait, can you pull up the roster?
Yeah, I'm pulling that up. I know what your question is.
Who? No, not that. I don't care about that. What are you doing?
That's what I wanted to pull
That's not my question.
I don't even see who that is.
I'm trying to think of the guy I don't like.
Russians.
No, go down.
What?
Hoglander?
Hoglander.
big
Yeah,
hog.
I don't like that guy.
They
big
just
hog.
turned into they just got Russians. They got Kolzin, Mikheyev.
Yeah,
'cause
it's
they signed
a solid.
Kuzmenko.
I mean, there's a lot of question marks. Like, what are their plans? Because like, there's been a lot of rumors about JT Miller moving, but then now there's talking about maybe resigning him. Like, you know, it's a different team completely with him and without him. It's hard to say. I like Vancouver. I think they're definitely doing good things, but
So
they need to just keep it up.
so they landed.
They should not
Kuzmenko.
sign. They should not trade. Not trade. Miller. That's a
Yeah, I
huge
agree.
mistake. Huge
I
mistake.
Bad idea.
They signed Kuzmenko in the offseason, 45 games in the KHL, 53 points. Again, we don't know until they're here how they're going to do. It's just like the AHL. They could light it up and be Kuznetsov level, or they could and Panarin level, or they could do absolutely nothing and be shipped out like Shipachyov in Vegas. Like
I'm sure the
20 years
KHL
ago.
is competitive, but the NHL is an entirely different level of hockey.
Well,
It's different hockey.
it is different hockey because of the bigger ice and different things like that. Like we don't. Yeah, I mean it depends on how the Russians do. Really,
What's their defense looking like this year?
Hughes. Oh God, Joey
You're
Shen.
never. I'm never gonna
Ugh.
like Hughes and
Oh, God.
Larson. Larson's
Tucker Poolman?
Tucker.
I mean-
Larson's taken a step back, but I still think he's pretty good.
I
Yeah,
think OEL's still good. I just don't think he's.
and then I mean
top line.
obviously Demko's insane.
Spencer
Oh, I have no
Uh,
issues with Demko.
They DiPietro asked for a trade.
Rick?
Interesting.
No,
He-
not Rick.
He hasn't gotten any.
Michael DiPietro.
Yeah,
Don't know who that
he's
is.
been pretty bad
Yeah, kind of.
since getting drafted. But he really hasn't gotten a chance either. But I wouldn't give him a chance if I was the team because he's been bad. So
Yeah, and they got
it's a little
Demko.
circular. I think a change of scenery could be good for that guy.
They got Jason Dickinson.
Hell yeah, dude, Dix.
Relationship to Robert?
No.
No. Okay then.
What about Charles?
Yeah, I mean, good team should make it.
Well, it's like the Jets. Like good team
Hey-
should make it.
Hey,
Will
if there's
they?
there's
Maybe.
anybody that can coach high-scoring Russians, Bruce Boudreau's
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah.
So we'll see if they can. I don't know.
I do like Mikheyev. I think I've said that a couple times now, but he was really good
Lost
on
Brad
Toronto
Hunt?
last year.
All right, Eric's favorite team, the Vegas Golden
Acquired
Knights.
Hutch, let's go.
So,
Oh boy, we got Clutch Hutch.
so the Golden Knights. I mean,
They traded Pacioretty for nothing.
when you look at what they did in the first year in the league, it was absolutely unprecedented. It was insane. They made it all the way to the
Still
cup.
over the cap.
It was you know
Look at those goalies.
it was a little
though.
fun to watch, but
Look at them goalies.
now they are an absolute dumpster
Brossoit
fire.
and Thomas. I like Thomas. He was good last year, but
Yeah, Thompson's good, but
Yeah, Thompson, sorry.
This defense, man.
I think the best thing that they have going for him is Eichel's coming back healthy, right? He'll
Yeah.
be here, they'll have him for a full season.
this
I
team
don't
feels
think
like
it makes a difference.
Edmonton in the last like 10 years. It's just like one generational
That
talent
first
pumping,
line,
you
dude.
know.
Stevenson, Eichel, Stone. I thought the whole point of getting Eichel was to get Stevenson off of their top line.
Yeah, just
Like, what do you?
they're such a they have good players. They're such a poorly managed club.
How
They
are
did
they
sign-
still gonna have this line?
They did sign Phil Kessel though.
This is almost as bad as the fourth line for the Islanders being 8 years in the running. We got another year of Marchessault, Carlson, and Smith
Yeah.
not living up to
I
what
mean,
they
they
did. their
traded
year
for Nolan
first year.
Patrick. He's been a complete bust. I mean,
Patrick
I
Waugh and
think
Kessel.
yeah,
You know-
hoping for Patrick to do anything at this point is a little bit of a
You know
long
what's
shot.
hilarious is that they're still signing people when they're over the cap.
Yeah, they're $8 million over. It's
I mean, they got Phil on a really good deal of 1.5.
the
but
defense isn't great. I don't even know if this team's good enough to make the playoffs. It all hinges on Jack Eichel.
it really
We
does.
haven't seen Eichel play a full season.
He
The
played
Pacific is weak. We've already established that.
Big
Or like the
shit,
West
bro.
is weak.
Yeah, they traded for Weber's contract because they needed to clear up
Oh,
space.
also Leonard's out like the entire season. He has
Yeah,
double
yeah,
hip
he's,
surgery.
He's like probably done.
He's probably done playing
Yeah.
hockey. There's no way Leonard plays again.
This team's bad. They're. What are they gonna do? Get Patrick Kane? Probably.
Yeah,
'Cause
How?
yeah,
who
but they
cares
could.
how? What are they gonna?
They'll just trade away
They're
everything.
just gonna
for
put. We'll put
Patrick
Mark
Kane.
Stone.
They'll just
No,
have
they'll
a-
probably send Eichel out.
Stone. Yeah.
Yeah, Stone.
They're gonna
Eichel.
put Mark Stone back on LTIR.
This team will just be Eichel, Kane, and a bunch of.
Eichel, Kane, and Chandler Stevenson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chandler Stevenson, the one constant in Vegas. They're bad. I'm sorry, they're just bad.
I mean, I don't know why they let Pacioretty just go for nothing.
Because they had to clear up cap space.
Oh,
I
they got,
understand.
they got a
They
new
didn't-
coach because they fire their coach every year.
Yeah, they fire their coach too.
Bruce Cassidy isn't a bad coach.
But
though.
no, but I mean, I don't know, dude. Like
Neither was Pete DeBoer though. I mean,
they're
it's
they're $8 million over the cap, and if they would have kept Pacioretty, they'd be 15.
Where'd
million
Dadonov
over the
go?
cap. Montreal for
Yeah.
Shea Weber. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if they're good enough. Are they?
good
Maybe
enough for what?
to make the playoffs.
No.
Again, they get to.
If they
get,
did, it was just because the rest of the division they have no, just by default they make it because
Yeah.
someone has to. But
It's really not that big of a deal, dude.
It's fine.
Kind of.
No, I mean, like, yeah, if they weren't in the West, there's no shot.
yeah, no, it's just because by default.
Kings? I don't think they did a damn thing.
No, no, they got
Scroll down.
Fiala.
Yeah, they got Fiala.
No,
Oh,
the Kings
Fia-
definitely got better for
Fiala
sure.
is good.
They traded away.
Oh,
Oli Mata,
they
which is a
re-signed Brendan
huge
Lemieux.
W.
Fucking hate Brendan Lemieux.
Everybody hates Brendan Lemieux, but you need
Oh,
players like that.
they did sign Kempney to a really good deal.
Yeah,
5.5
the
to
Kings
4.
did good this offseason. I still don't think.
Oh
the,
no, they lost Ollie Mata.
Can their
bitch.
kids take the next step? That's
yeah,
where they're
I
at.
think the Kings are probably the best team
Byfield,
out of
Turcotte,
the California teams.
everything I've heard.
I mean,
Well, this year maybe.
Yeah.
Anaheim's way ahead of them in terms of.
Sure, but I
prospects.
said this year. I'm still not. Kopitar's still just been like sneaky good for the last couple of years. He's just
Dano's
been
good,
quietly
too.
insane.
I think Kopitar retires in 2 years. He'll be 37.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe he'll probably just do the one.
but he's
year
still putting up a point
contracts.
per game as it is. So
Yeah.
Can-
I think Kopitar's awesome.
Can Kaliev, Velarde, Kupari, Byfield,
Hell,
and
they
Turcotte
almost
take the steps?
took Edmonton. Like
Yeah.
it was pretty close,
That's closer than it should have been.
What the hell's wrong with their
Peterson's good.
defense?
and that was without Drew Doughty. I mean,
It's just kids you've never heard of because they're
Yeah.
21 years old.
Where's
and they
Doughty?
play late at night. He's injured.
He's hurt.
Oh, okay.
He's still on IR from last year.
Jonathan Quick, always a solid defenseman. Off. It's getting late, boys. Solid goalie. I mean, yeah, the Kings are the Kings. I think they're not going to do anything.
They got better.
crazy.
They got better.
They'll make the playoffs.
Will their kids make big enough of a splash? They got. I don't know how to say his name.
Don't say it.
Turcotte, Kaliev.
We'll go with Fajemo.
Yeah, Fajemo. I don't need to get canceled 3 episodes into our podcast. They've got nothing else really. They have Copley. Lit.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, they made some decent moves, but I don't like you said. I think it's gonna make waves.
right.
They'll make the playoffs just by default.
What's we got
I
the
mean,
Flames
the
and
last two-
Oilers.
the last two
yeah.
teams,
So
yeah.
it's
These are the ones that are going to take the most time anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, Edmonton up next. They added a bunch of really nothing other than Campbell. Obviously, Campbell's huge.
no, but it's the addition by subtraction. No Archibald, no Koskinen, no Mike Smith, no Duncan Keith, no Zach Castian. That's a huge win.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you're freeing up a lot of
They
space. for a
finally
lot
did
of
it. They
young
finally
kids.
shredded their weight.
Yep.
You know,
Janmark's
I
a
think
solid
it's-
bottom sixer that they got.
I love Jack Campbell. The biggest issue I had with them was their goaltending being so bad.
I think the
Jack Campbell's going to come in, shore that up completely. Now that they still have a huge issue on defense, but they come in, they shore that up. They need like a single middle six defenseman, and or like well, I
Middle
guess
six
that's,
defenseman.
second pairing defenseman, and
they'll
they'll be good to go. I mean,
I
McDavid and
agree.
Draisaitl are insane. I mean, I'm going to bank on them.
I agree.
Why not?
I think
God, if this team gets Patrick Kane.
I think one of the funniest things that happened in the playoffs
Kick Cody
was.
Ceci out, then we're good.
Yeah, pretty much.
Can I talk now?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. was in the playoffs when Mikko Koskinen decided he's going to go play in the Swedish League this year. Just mid-playoffs, they're trying to make a push to the cup, and he's already thinking about what he's going to be doing next year.
Man,
That shit had me laughing.
if Clefbaum had never gotten hurt, they might have actually been able to do something by now.
Yeah, I think their biggest pickup this offseason was obviously Jack Campbell. They filled a huge, huge hole in their team with
Who's
the
their backup,
goalie.
Stewart?
So we'll see. There's also, like I mentioned earlier in one of the first episodes, is there's news that Patrick Kane potentially is looking at Edmonton. That would be an insane pickup for them. We'll see what actually happens in the season.
I mean, regardless, they're still my favorite
In the Pacific?
in the West.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not betting against McDavid. That's 100%.
You can't. I mean,
And like I said, they need very small pieces, a middle pairing defenseman, some extra wingers to shore that stuff up. That's all trade deadline stuff.
Yep.
It can happen.
Yeah, and they also got the kids. I mean, Holloway already played a couple playoff games for them last year.
are they over the cap?
They
are.
Not too bad though.
$6 million. That's a lot.
Well, yeah, but that's just until this hits.
Huh?
That's just until Clefbaum's contract goes to IR. 'Cause-
Okay, so I mean,
Because Clefbaum's not playing ever again, unfortunately. I still think that if he was there, they would have been able to make it
Clappin was
farther.
so good.
He was really
Yeah.
good. It's unfortunate. I don't think they really have much else in the
They're
in
my
the way of
favorites
rookies
in the West easily. Like I mean, their talent level is just it's so much farther.
Well, they
ahead
got
than everyone.
McDavid. That's pretty
Yeah,
much all they need.
How are you going to bet against McDavid
And
against
Draisaitl.
some? We've already said it's the weakest, conference. The
Yeah.
whole West is bad. McDavid just feeds on this stuff.
yeah. McDavid's not slowing down. He keeps getting better, so we'll see what he does. So last up, we got the Flames.
Big L.
Absolutely awful offseason.
A little bit of a hot take. They lost 2 100-point goal scorers and replaced them with one who I was roasting in the Florida review.
Yeah.
So it was invisible playoff performances.
Yeah.
And then they let the other one walk.
And then they haven't re-signed Uyghur yet. But they also got Uyghur
No,
back.
but he has a contract for.
And then they signed Kadri which is good. I mean, getting Kadri for nothing is good. But also now they committed to Kadri for like 7 years, and that's like they committed to Kadri and Huberdeau, so they're gonna be stuck in this scenario where that's not good enough to be winning, but not bad enough to be losing.
Yeah, which is why I don't really understand why they put themselves in this position.
If they would have flipped Huberdeau, I'd have been much more excited.
Yeah, because they could have at least gotten something for him. But, this team's just not going to be good enough to win a cup. That's for sure. They're not going to be good enough to win a cup.
Not even
Which
close.
means, why are they doing this? Why are they getting Kadri? Why are they not flipping Huberdeau?
Yeah, I got him out. I got him out of the playoffs. I do.
But here's the thing, who overtakes them?
Yeah,
Easy.
that's the big
that's
thing.
an easy. I got Edmonton, and then I got.
Well, we'll get there in a minute. We're
Yeah.
jumping ahead of ourselves.
But it's easy. I
I mean, it's just not.
I just don't like anything about the Flames.
I like a lot about the Flames, but I don't like enough about the Flames to
I mean, they're worse than the Knights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're the Knights without the cap space problems.
Well, at least that's good.
I just the Kadri signing makes no sense.
What is wrong with Markstrom?
I don't know what
he was
happened.
horrible.
In the playoffs.
Horrible.
I don't know, dude. On paper, you look at their top six and you're like, yeah, it's okay.
It's just okay. That's the problem. It's just okay.
It's
Well,
comparable.
I
to
like
someone-
I like some of their players. I like
Connor
Coleman. I like
Toffoli, but he
Kadri. I
plays
like
late at night.
Foley.
It's really comparable to
I don't think
Carolina.
I don't think
but
it meshes well.
the big problem is that they don't have Carolina's insane defense.
No.
So if you're gonna have that top six as a playoff contending team, you at least have to make up for it somewhere. And I'm sorry, but Hanifin, Anderson, Uyghur, Tanev, Zadorov, and Shillington are not good enough.
No.
That's not good enough of a defense to make up for their lack of.
I don't believe they have any
Score.
reinforcements either.
Not really, no. I mean, Trevor Lewis is penciled in on this lineup, and Kevin Rooney. That's bad, dude.
They're also still icing Milan Lucic.
He's fine.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is. He's okay.
No, he's not. He's not okay.
He's okay.
He
It
is.
could be worse.
How could it be worse?
It could be Ryan Reeves.
Well, you have a special hate for Ryan Reeves in your heart.
Ryan Reeves is the worst player in the league. But, like, you know who isn't far away from Ryan Reeves? Trevor Lewis. Like, it's just not. He's 35.
Wow.
Jesus. How old's Lucic?
34, but at least Lucic was good at one point.
Sure.
You don't just forget how to play hockey. Lucic, you don't go from putting up 60 points on the Bruins to forgetting how to do that. He knows how to do that. His body won't let him anymore. And considering all things considered, I mean, he's like 20 points. It's fine. It
He's
could
a
be
fourth
worse.
liner. It's whatever.
But
Still beats the hell out of people.
yeah, I mean, he's fine. But the rest of their team is just so medium. There's just nothing here that, like, Huberdeau got 100 points for the first time last year playing with Alex Barkov and Anthony Duclair just having an unreal year.
You know who's not that? Lindholm
yeah.
and Tyler Toffoli.
And I like both Lindholm and Toffoli, but
I think they're good players, but I just don't think that that's Barkov level.
no, it's not.
Barkov might be top 3 centers in the league. I think he's absolutely insane. Lindholm might be top 15.
Mangiapane's good, but not that good. Kadri's good, but not that good.
Yeah.
I just don't see how this team.
Blake Coleman though.
Yeah, Blake Coleman has a cup or two, and
I mean,
but like not good enough.
This team doesn't compete for Stanley Cup this year.
no,
They're not going to.
which makes their decisions even more confusing to me because
Yeah, no, I mean, like they had a game plan. Their guys gave up on it, and then they tried to put these I mean, they're good Band-Aids. Don't get me wrong, but
now
it's not the same.
the one thing that we aren't taking into account is the fact that Daryl Sutter's a really good head coach.
Sure.
I mean, if we're looking at this roster and the 2012 and 2014 Kings, they're really not that much different.
You're right.
But they didn't have Jonathan. They don't have Jonathan Quick.
No, you're right. They have Markstrom, who just forgot how to play goaltending.
Jonathan Quick had those were some of the most insane years of his career. Jonathan Quick carried them to those cups.
And they don't have. I've never really liked them that much either, but
Drew
they
Doughty.
don't have a Doughty.
Drew Doughty is insane.
They have a Noah Hannafin.
Yeah, you
that's-
can't deny how good Doughty's been in his
Like
career.
it's just
They don't have that.
like they're gonna make the playoffs. They are,
by default.
but
I
they're not
can't
gonna
even
make a
argue
splash.
with it though. So, yeah, they're definitely not making a splash. Huberdeau, if you think Huberdeau's having a 100-point season,
You're out of your
Yeah, there's no
freaking
way.
mind.
no, I mean,
I'd max him at 90. Max.
I don't know, man.
So, let's look at the Pacific standings. See where you guys are gonna rank them. Robbie,
Sure.
lead us off again.
So I'll go Edmonton, or yeah, Oilers in first. I'll actually go the Kings in second, the Ducks in a very close third, and then I'm gonna put the Canucks in fourth.
I'm not ready to put Anaheim that high.
I am.
I think they'll do good, but I don't think
I
they're
think
going to make it.
Zegras and McTavish are gonna
I think
light
that,
the league
well, I
up.
think they're going to slow roll them a bit.
I
I
don't
think
know. I
they're
think
going to.
they're gonna
I
light
think
'em
they're going to
up.
bring in McTavish, but I don't think that they're going to bring in the rest, and I think they need
That's
the rest.
enough.
I don't think so.
It's enough to beat out Calgary, that's for sure.
I've got Edmonton, L.A., Vancouver,
Gibson
Calgary.
alone, really.
I don't see how. Here's the thing: when it comes, if I'm putting up a bunch of young kids and a mediocre defense, which to be honest with you, I think that Anaheim's defense is comparable to Calgary's. Anaheim has the 10 times better of a goalie, so I'm going Edmonton in first, Kings in second. I'll take Vancouver in third. I think Vancouver turns it around this year. I really hope Pedersen gets his head out of his ass and has a really good season. He has so much
Yeah, I'd
potential,
love that.
and last year
yeah.
it was so disappointing. And I put Anaheim in fourth place. I don't think Calgary is going to make it. I think Calgary thinks they're going to make it, but they did not make the moves they needed to get it done. So
Yeah, I'll take the Daryl Sutter defensive hockey. I think they're going to make it. I think they're going to edge Anaheim out barely and
I mean,
take
yeah,
the spot.
that's all for you. So, with that being said, that kind of wraps up the review of the off season. But I do want to get some little early predictions here from you guys. Robbie, Stanley Cup final prediction. Way too early. Stanley Cup
way
final
too early.
prediction.
Stanley final prediction. All right,
Yeah,
I'll
you don't
go,
have to give me
a safe bet.
You go with the safe bet. All right,
You know what the safe bet is.
Edmonton, Tampa.
Okay. Who
I have a very hard time arguing against that.
Yeah,
that was going to be mine as well.
I'll give it to Edmonton this year.
I have a very hard time arguing against Edmonton.
My
Tampa.
reason for, I would also agree with you, Robbie, with Edmonton Tampa. I think Edmonton is going to have probably their best season they've had in the past 5 years.
Yeah, no,
Which is
I think
which
they're
is
loading.
not, which
yeah,
is not hard to do.
I think they're gonna crush it.
I think the addition of Jack Campbell takes them to the Stanley Cup Finals. I think Edmonton wins it, and the only reason that they're gonna edge them out is because Tampa Bay has played so much fucking hockey in the past 4 seasons.
Yeah, really.
That I just think that Edmonton is just gonna have the drive and just the
McDavid
actual
wants
rest.
it. You know, he's pissed. He wants it. That was the closest he's ever gotten.
McDavid wants it more than anybody right
Cup
now.
going back to Canada, huh?
Yeah, that'd be nuts.
Yeah, I don't know.
What an insane journey Draisaitl's been on too. I mean, I remember watching him. We went to the what's it called, the
World Championship?
Championships, and
The
like
World
I
Cup-
knew
the World
of
Cup of
the
Hockey.
World Cup of Hockey, like the last time it
Keith
happened.
Tkachuk scored
Yeah,
4 goals in the
and I remember
finals.
watching Draisaitl in one of the games, and you know I knew of Draisaitl. I knew he was good, and he got a hat trick in that game, and I was impressed. But I never really envisioned him
winning Art Ross trophies back to back.
literally
to back.
in contention of like the best player in the league, like better
Yep.
than McDavid. I would have never predicted that.
Yeah.
Eric, your early predictions for the Stanley Cups?
I have a hard time betting against Edmonton, Tampa. It's just they're clearly the best teams in the league. Tampa is easier to say no to, just because of the amount of Eastern teams that could take it.
Yep.
I
But-
don't see any team in the West competing with Edmonton.
I really don't.
They're literally like
I think
an
if-
entire tier above.
I
West.
agree.
I think if we look back what we said about Edmonton, if they add that middle six defenseman and they somehow pull Patrick Kane out of their ass, that's a lock.
Patrick Kane makes him a lock. That's
Patrick
for sure.
Kane,
yeah.
100%.
Yeah. If they manage to pull off Patrick Kane, unreal. They'll be the best team in the league.
Yep.
They'll overtake Tampa.
All right, guys. Well,
It's crazy to see how many people are doubting them still.
Who?
Edmonton, like
Yeah.
People just they look at Edmonton and they look at the past years and what they were. I don't think you can do that anymore. I think they've done nothing but kind of make themselves better.
yeah.
Everybody in the team's gotten better. Nobody's really gotten worse. So I think that they're gonna make waves this year. But that being said, thank you again for joining us on our review of the off season. We'll catch you guys soon. Thanks for watching.